everybody. Today with us we have Major Pallavi Shivanna. She's an ex-army officer, currently serving as a Vice President HR with Fincare Small Finance Bank. Welcome, Pallavi.
Thank you, Smita. Thank you so much for giving this platform for me to share my thoughts and views on this most important day, that is International Women's Day. I come from a very conservative background, family from a city called Mysore. It's a small town in Karnataka. I graduated in criminology, psychology, and sociology. So the main reason why I did why I took these subjects was to become an IPS officer. My inspiration from my childhood has always been Kiran Bedi. I really wanted to become wearing a khaki. The uniform has always been a passion for me. So I used to see some serials and used to read a lot about her. So I epitomized, literally wanted to be somebody like her. Just destiny made me end up in army. And it just so happened, of course, both are uniform services. And one of my friend, I should give the credit to my friend, who happened to be my classmate, who's no more today. He just came up with this employment news. That time it used to be employment news. The advertisement, hey, there is something which has come up, so why don't you try? So I just happened to see that was the first time way back in 96, 97. So I just applied and I just got a call. So my entire family was like, I didn't even ask anybody's permission. I just applied and I sent, and after that I came back and told, so look, I have applied. And that is something, a quality which even today I have. I do it, and then after that I come back and tell my family, this is what I've done. That is something I don't want to label myself as a rebel, but sort of I've always been subtly a rebel in the family. Being the youngest brat, I've always been into extracurricular. It's not that I've always been a bookworm or only studies. I used to be in theatre. I used to be in NCC. I also qualified till brown belt in martial arts before I joined the defense. And I was also into music and all sorts of extracurricular. It used to be, my friends used to make fun of me, like 24 hours is not enough for you. So that is a quick background about me. And after joining the army, it was definitely was not an easy journey, especially for first 6 months to 1 year. Because I was one of the first lady officer to be posted in Jodhpur as a division. Is one of the army division is there. And it was such a tough situation for them to even see a lady officer roaming around there and all. And it is one thing, to cut it short, one thing I have realized in my army tenure, my entire 9 years of career in the army, it is the men, that is the soldiers who work under you. It's easy to convince them and you can command their respect. But it is difficult, it's quite a challenge to make your fellow officers, men officers, to make you accept part of the clan. And that is something I have seen and I've personally experienced it. And it's been 14, 15 years that I've left the forge, the family. Even today I receive calls from the people who have served with me. And it's very ironic to say, people who down below works below you and they look up to you and they accept you as a leader. So a leader irrespective of your gender. That is something I personally believed and I still believe in that. That's what I wanted to share. It's easy. Once you prove you are a leader, then they will not even look back, whether you are a lady or whether you're a gentleman. But for your fellow officers, it's not that I'm being against male folk or something. It's quite threatening for them. I'm talking way back in 98. It's quite threatening, to see that somebody's coming and, it's not that taking over the job. It's just about giving an equal opportunity to even further our ambitions and career aspirations. That is something I have experienced it personally. And during even Op Vijay, this Kargil operations was going on, I was fortunate enough to be part of it in the Western theatre, not in the actual operations was going on in J&K. But I was posted in Rajasthan, so the entire unit, we moved to the borders of Rajasthan. In the night, we were given the orders, you have to go. So I just had to pack my bed holder and one small bag and go and search a bush or something to go and ease yourself. That is the type of situation way back then. And even today, I miss my uniform. At way back then, there was no permanent commission as such for the lady officers. Fortunately, last year, or I think last year itself, our Honorable Prime Minister announced granting permanent commission to the lady officers. So there are few of my course-mates are still there who have got the permanent commission. I'm so glad that at least after fighting for such a long time in the Supreme Court and also with the higher up authorities, they were able to achieve this.
What does the permanent code?
See, we were all initially granted short service commission. So short service commission is a commission granted by the government of India for a short period of time. Permanent commission is till the time you are actually retiring. Minimum retirement age is 20 years. So lady officers as such did not have till about last year a permanent commission. It was fought by a few of my seniors and few of my fellow course-mates and the juniors in the Supreme Court. They were actually fighting for it. So finally it paid off.
Okay, now
that's what I'm
now I get it. It's
yeah,
quite interesting.
Yeah.
So, do you think it is difficult to be in an army like position after few years for women? Do you think it's not feasible for them to continue?
I personally feel it is irrespective of women or men. If somebody is choosing to join the army, especially for women, I want to give this message. One should not be expecting that I will be treated like a very, like a lady or anything. You need to be ready for any challenges thrown at you at any point in time. In middle of the night at 12 o'clock, somebody will come and knock your door and say, look, abhi kai operation hai, you have to go. So, or we are going somewhere, or there is some emergency has happened. You can't say, no, I'm a lady, I cannot go. Then you should not be in that particular career. So everybody has their own choice and everybody has their own strengths and capabilities. So depending if you're choosing this, I personally feel one should not be cribbing. And challenges are definitely there, Smita, on this occasion of International Women's Day. I say it is not only in the army, since I've seen both the worlds equally. I say challenges is there even in the corporate world as such. So it's not only in the army.
How did you think of moving to HR? Or when did you think of moving to HR as a full-time career?
When I was in my 9th year of my service in the army, I did get an opportunity to do a resettlement course, a short-term, it's like an executive MBA course from Narsimhanji, Bombay. So when I joined the 6 months course, it was a full-time residential 6 months course. And that is the time while doing all the projects and assignments and everything, I was contemplating between marketing and HR. So in fact, when I walked into one of the marketing, I think professor who was teaching, I said, marketing is quite exciting. So I would like to be in marketing. She gave me a look and then she gave a piece of advice to me. I think I should thank her. And she said, marketing is something, this is what it is. Either you go up or either you go out, and otherwise it will not suit. Think over it. So then I thought through a lot. And I also had a psychology as a background in my graduation. And I'm a gold medalist in psychology from my university. So I thought, why not, going through that path. And as it is, I love interacting with people and I love to be around people. So, and I realized that I enjoy being with people. And that is how I chose HR as a career. So from Narsimhanji, it was a campus placement with ICICI Lombard. That is how my corporate journey started.
What do you think HR as a function can drive change within the organization?
Smita, I would like to say, yes, definitely HR as a function has a lot to bring in change in any organization as such. It depends upon how you create value for your own self first and for the department, and then your stakeholders will listen to you. That is something I've learned over a period of time. It has not come easily. And I've had my own share of, pitfalls, and I've learned lessons. And most important is how you make your stakeholders sit up and look up to you and even listen to the suggestions and the feedback that you're giving. So it again depends completely how you put it across as well and strategically.
Do you think as an organization, is it HR's responsibility or organization's responsibility to create safe workplaces?
So it's a joint responsibility, Smita. It is not only organization nor the HR. HR is a facilitator to create such processes and ensure that is followed. So it is again on the organization's vision and what is it we actually provide to our employees who come every day to office, look forward to come to the office every day, not dragging their feet just to come in. And I proudly say in that way, as a Fincare, as an organization, as a bank, we have this policy in place of zero tolerance for any sort of harassments, not only PoSH as such, any sort of harassments, and which is taken very, very seriously across levels and across hierarchy.
So, a prevention of sexual harassment, workplace harassment, creation of safe workplaces. Okay, what do you think is the role of an organization to be in? Does it make sense to invest your time and effort into that?
It makes a lot of sense as an organization when we're growing. Every organization, when they start, it's a small, and there are not a lot of things and processes, all this D&I, what we talk, it would have not set in. But when you're growing as an organization, all these things definitely gives a lot of value to the existing employees, and also somebody who is coming from outside. They look for all these things. What is the type of culture that we have? What is the type of inclusivity we have? And what is the diversity that we have, whether it is a gender, generational, and educational diversity. And I proudly say that we have the generational diversity is amazing. We have a 22-year-old till the age of 50. We have across different departments. So that is one thing I proudly say that. Yeah. And we all work together, in a team.
That will be brilliant to watch, Pallavi, that how a 22-year-old is working with a 50-year-old and how they are working together, because...
it's quite a challenging thing.
My next question to you is about any specific message to the CEOs, CHROs who are listening to this conversation that they need to do in the space of creating safe workplaces, creating diverse and inclusive workplaces. Any key messages from your side to them?
The message I would like to genuinely give on this platform: we need not look at any employee or a staff in the organization as a woman, to start looking at them as an individual first and identify their talent and give them an opportunity to grow themselves, and to give an opportunity or a roadmap, and how as an organization one can support for them to have a career. And that is something as an organization we can do it. So that is really missing in many of the organizations. The moment an employee or a female employee goes on a maternity leave, the first thing they start asking, oh my God, she'll come back, and then how do you manage? I see a lot of leaders who make such comments, and I actually give them back. So I'm sorry for being rude. And I've also had in my previous organization, not in Fincare, we don't do that. I've had one manager, specifically, I would like to give this example. This lady, very talented, everybody liked her. She was about to be selected. The manager said she's just newly been married. She will join after 6 months, she'll get pregnant, and then she'll go on maternity leave. What do I do? Like, I was sitting in the panel, even the other person who was in the panel was an expat. So we both are on the same page, luckily. And we said, no, you cannot be assuming that after 6 months, she'll start the family. That type of a thought process, the way we look at women, needs to change. The end of the day, we all are ambitious, right? So why do we have to box women in that? Okay, the moment she gets married, within 6 months to 1 year, she'll have a child, and her career and her life is done. No, that is gone old time. Now it is not that. So that is a message I would really like to give. When you're hiring, hire a person for a talent, individual. Look at them as an individuals. That's what I want to say.
Any initiatives that your organization is driving towards creating safe workplaces and creating diversity in your organization?
See, as I mentioned earlier about, yes, the safe workplace is there in terms of, PoSH and any other, like we have Kaizala, which is an internal communication tool. It's a collaboration tool as well, wherein employees can share thoughts and also openly share their ideas. And since we have the transparency, employees walk up to our HR VPs or the HR spoke and share their challenges or issues that they have. So even in case any employee is working late, especially female employees, women colleagues are there. So we ensure that company, we have a 2-car, we ensure that they are dropped home safely. And if I am the one who's walking late out of office, I generally see the floor if there is no women or even men in that way. I always say it's not about women or men. So I tell both the genders, please go now, it's too late. We are jointly doing one as a HR team and as well as an organization, and the senior leadership team members also take initiative, ensuring it is safe workplace. And I have to just mention whether it is my MD and CEO, Mr. Rajiv Yadav also. Generally, he sees me sitting after 7:38 and he's walking off, you always ensure that I shut down my laptop. He said, no, you will get up and go now. Your children are waiting at home. And that is a level of transparency we have.
One more question, right? Generally at entry level, we don't have issues with women joining the work. Where we have challenges is tier 2 or tier 3, the middle management and the high management. So is there any recommendation from you or any suggestion from you to ensure that we do not lose out women employees when they're moving from junior to mid management or from mid management to high management?
Smita, here I would not like to say anything to the organization. I would like to give this as a piece of suggestion, not even advice, to women who are actually listening to this. We all have been brought up in the typically conservative setup that women cannot be ambitious, women cannot have a career goals, and women cannot go and ask for it. So that thought process needs to change. That is where actually it starts. So you have a need, you want to have a career, you have your own career aspirations. So why not state it? And there's nothing wrong women being ambitious. If a man can aspire to be a CEO or a head of the department, and there's nothing wrong, a woman can also aspire, because the family looks at these things in a different way. I feel why that type of a thought process should be there. And that message I want to give it to especially these young women who are starting their career or who are in their middle of the early part of the career. So I've had people, the moment they get married, they have a child, they say, now I think I'll have a career break. I might sound very feminist in this, but why only women has to take a career break? Child raising has to, that concept, the thought process, the way we look at child, bringing up a child has to be from both part of the parents. I may sound too revolutionistic in this, but that is how I am. I'm completely unapologetic about it.
So, Major, taking from there, any suggestion for striking a great balance between work and life? Any suggestions for women, because they are the most of people who are listening to this conversation, and they are the people who drop off because of not being able to strike that balance?
Self-love and self-care. I think that comes first. And just to tell you, I'm also doing my training in psychotherapy, and also into focus is also to create awareness on mental and emotional health among people. That is my focus. That's what I'm actually doing my training in. Be sure of what you want to do in life, and everything starts with self and everything ends with self. Self-care and self-love is not selfish, and it is very important. If you are happy, you can share happiness with others. If you are grumbling and angry and dissatisfied, that is what actually the energy you're going to share it with people. In the professional setup, my sincere advice to keep personal and professional lives separate, so that you know where to draw the line, not to carry work back home, or not to bring the personal issues back to office, because it will clutter and affect the productivity.
Any tips, because you're working on mental health space, so any quick tips for everybody who's listening to this conversation to maintain their mental health during this difficult time?
It takes a lot of courage to even stand up and recognize that I'm going through this challenge. I need to seek help. Okay, let me openly tell it about. I started seeing a therapist many years back because I was under depression. And I openly state that. And it is okay, nothing to feel ashamed about it. The way we have our stomachache, the way we have a headache, I also have an emotional issues. And it is okay to get it addressed. And that is how my journey to learn more about it and contribute to mental health awareness started around 6-7 years back.
Thank you. That piece of advice is really brilliant, that seek help. And with that, we come to the end of the conversation. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Smita, for giving this platform for me to express my thoughts.